From a young girl who was kidnapped from her home and saved by unexpected guests to a gorilla saving a child not of her own, here are some of the bravest animals who saved human lives. Our first entry is the girl accepted by lions. Now, to be fair, we've told this story a few times on this channel, but it's still nonetheless amazing, even if the validity of it is contested by some. The story goes as such. There was a poor girl who was kidnapped by 4 rebels in Ethiopia. She was taken from her village and her family and taken to their camp. There she was beaten, mistreated, abused, and would be unwillingly led to one of the rebels. The rebels didn't care if she didn't want it. They didn't care that she was only 12 years old, and they certainly didn't care if they had to kill her for being non-compliant. They were terrible people, and this poor girl was in their clutches. Heck, they even escaped the authorities when they were found, leading them to take the girl deeper into the jungle itself. Understandably, the girl cried, terrified of her situation. Her cries, however, were not on deaf ears. Her cries actually drew the attention of a nearby pride of lions, who, lured by her cries, invaded the rebels' camp. They attacked the rebels and forced them to flee, but surprisingly, the lions didn't attack the girl. It said they actually took the girl in and protected her until rescuers came. At that point, the lions simply left. The reason that's said for the lions coming to her rescue is that the girl's cries were similar to that of a baby cub, spurring the lions to accept her as one of their own. Now, this story is contested on whether it's true or not, and it certainly can be hard to believe, but it's still a cool story regardless. Our next entry is MILA, the beluga whale. Whales are known to be some of the smartest animals in the world, with dolphins in particular being praised for being as smart as humans. However, that doesn't mean that other whales aren't as smart, or in this case as empathetic. During a diving competition in China, a young woman named Yang Yun entered to help further her dreams of becoming a whale trainer. This contest required divers to sink to the bottom of a 20-foot pool, where belugas also resided. This seems to be a sort of endurance test, possibly to hold your breath the longest, maybe? I'm not really sure on those details, actually. Yang started the process of sinking, however during that sinking, Yang's legs started to cramp up very badly. Couple that with the freezing temperatures of the water, trying to swim back to safety would be next to impossible. Yang had a good chance of drowning during this exercise, if not for the brave actions of a friendly beluga. MILA, a resident of the pool, noticed Yang in a good amount of distress and took the woman's leg in her mouth. MILA was very gentle about it, apparently not leaving very deep marks either. She then started to push her upwards toward the surface, allowing her to reach the surface and get the help that she needed, as well as also uncramp her leg. If not for MILA, Yang would have died, and Yang does credit the amazing whale for such, calling her a true hero. Our next entry is another friendly whale. Nan Hauser is a whale biologist and naturally is often studying whales, either up close and personal or from study documents. While she's done dozens of dives to observe these gentle giants, most of the time they're peaceful with a low threat level. However, one time in particular, she was out on a research dive out in the Pacific Ocean. She was studying humpback whales, and all was seemingly going normal, even finding quite a few good specimens here and there. The whales were peacefully tolerating Nan's presence, and Nan happily studied them in turn. However, one whale in particular started to get closer to the scientists on purpose. It seemed to be shielding her in a sense, or blocking her from something else. Nan was initially confused, but all became clear when she spotted a 15-foot tiger shark stalking her nearby. Tiger sharks, for the uninitiated, are actually far more dangerous than great white sharks, as they are known man-eaters, and unfortunately Nan was right on her radar. The tiger shark had been close, obviously in hunting mode. However, with something as big as the humpback blocking its potential meal, it backed off. Nan praised the whale and said an incident like this had happened only one other time, and it isn't going to be something she's going to soon forget. Our next entry is Khan the Wonder Dog. Khan was a very good dog owned by the Savizilic family, and the best friend of their toddler, Charlotte. While he had only been with the family about 4 days, he proved himself a true hero and member of the family in that time. Khan seemed to be a friendly dog, being close with Charlotte. However, one day he seemed to be acting differently as the two played outside. He seemed to be slightly aggressive toward the child, forcefully pushing into her and trying to move her as she played in the grass. It seemed out of the ordinary, but the reason was soon clear. Getting closer to the 17-month-old child was a king brown snake, and was ready to strike the unsuspecting child. Now, for another little tidbit of education, the king brown snake is a highly venomous breed of snake, even called the 3rd most venomous in the world. A small child like Charlotte wouldn't have survived if she had been bitten, and Khan himself had prevented that. Con, seeing the snake was about to strike, leapt into action, grabbing Charlotte's back nappy in his jaws and flinging her over his shoulder. This caused the snake to strike, biting the poor pup's paws. Con ran inside the house where he then collapsed, the poison taking rapid effect. Thankfully though, his owner and Charlotte's mother was present, where she called the vet and was able to get a shot of anti-venom to the pup just in time. Con went on to make a full recovery, and I believe the snake was apprehended by animal control. Regardless, this dog is a hero through and through. Binti the Gorilla. August 1996, a familiar scene plays out. 3-year-old child recklessly climbs the wall to a gorilla enclosure, and of course he falls in. Scholars of the timeless Harambe may say this seems vaguely familiar, but this was actually before his tragic end. This story involves a gorilla named Binti Jwa, who witnessed the small child tumble into her enclosure. There were other gorillas in said enclosure, some far more aggressive at the sudden intruder in their home. Binti, however, wasted no time at all, getting to the unconscious child and picking him up, shielding him from her fellow gorillas. Binti was a mother herself, so the official explanation that popped up for her behavior is her motherly instincts kicked in, spurring her to protect the young boy from harm. Binti then brought the unconscious child to the rescue workers where they retrieved him. Binti is a hero, as that could have gone horribly if she hadn't been there. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Our final entry is Dolphins stop a great white shark. As I've said several times before, dolphins are smart creatures, said to be as smart as humans even. This means they're able to solve more complex problems than the average animal. And like their big cousins, the killer whales, this also includes how to stop very big predators. This rings true for one Rob Howes, who was swimming with a few other lifeguards and his daughter one nice day in New Zealand. They were doing standard swimming practice when suddenly a pod of 15 dolphins suddenly raced toward them and started slapping the water and swimming around them in a circle. The swimmers were very concerned and confused. The dolphins didn't want to leave them alone. Howes, however, soon spotted the reason why. There was a large great white shark circling the helpless humans, poised to attack. The dolphins had moved in and were protecting the group, trying to drive it away. And soon enough, they had. The dolphins held the shark back long enough for a rescue boat to arrive and rescue the humans, with the dolphins departing soon after. And this has been our savior animals today. These are just some of the best examples of animals helping humans, but there really is so much more. Would you like to hear about more of them? If so, let me know and I'll do another. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.